Good morning, Devils fans. After yet another fantastic win, Nico Hischier return. Eric continues to dominate with quite a fantastic record. Was that 7-2 in our last 9 games since Nico's coming back with a 2-1 overtime win over the Boston Bruins. This was, I think, the best game out of Vitek Vanacek all season. It was a real goalie battle, start to finish. I thought Swayman also played very, very well. The numbers all say so, that both goalies made this game a lot closer than it probably could have been. But I don't think it was a bad defensive effort by either team either. I think it was actually great. Probably one of our best ones of the year. I'm not going to say the best. I think we've had some much more dominant offensive games that kind of just made it so there was no defensive effort to be made. But as far as a back and forth game, this is probably one of the better ones we've watched all season. Kept it low scoring. We actually won a 2-1 game again. And across the board, most of our guys played very, very well. I'd say, again, that third line kind of still needs to find its flow with Holla moving there, with Mercer and Holtz. Defensively, they still give up a lot. And they did generate some chances as well as scoring the first tying goal for us. But overall, their play was not that fantastic. And then the top six had a bit of a shakeup about halfway through. And that kind of led to both lines starting to click a lot better. Earlier on, though, it was a bit of a rough start. I felt like the Bruins completely controlled play through the first 7-ish minutes of the first period up until Mikey McLeod drew the penalty. As soon as he drew the penalty, yeah, the power play didn't score, but it generated a lot of really good chances, and then it completely swung momentum where I felt like we completely took over in the first after that power play just strung together a lot of really good chances up until geeked out. I mean, absolutely took over an entire shift, scored the goal, and then momentum swung back in Boston's favor to kind of close out the first period where it did end 1-0. I know the announcers were absolutely going crazy over it, but legitimately, that geeky shift was insane. He deserved that goal. Boston probably deserved a goal there in that first period, but like I said, Vitek played probably his very best game of the entire season. I didn't feel like he was swimming at all in this one. He was following the puck very well. He did not give up a ton of rebound chances. He made some great saves with especially the Pasternak one with the help from Nemec. Even though Nemec got beat, he recovered and was able to hold Pasta's stick. Now, would Pasta have been able to get all the way over to beat Vitek around the pad if Nemec isn't there? It was close. So we're going to give credit to both of them with that save. And, I mean, even there was some flurry chances there in the third period. There was multiple instances of Vitek just being positionally sound, eating up rebounds, taking away angles. I thought, again, this was his best game of the entire season. And while I don't want to say he was the reason we won, because I think Swayman did just as much, if not more, at the other end with keeping Boston into it. In fact, he only gave up that one goal off of that insane shift from Geeky. Absolute hats off to Vitek on this one. Second period, I thought it was pretty much back and forth play through the first half of the second. And then I think that's right around the time when Bratt and Timo swapped. So Bratt moving up with the Foley and Jack, Timo moving down with Nico and Palat. And the Jack's line took off from that moment. And Nico's line continued to look really good. And that's really where we took over. From about halfway through the second into and through the third period, I think we were clearly the better team. I talked about it in yesterday's preview. We should have been the better 5-on-5 team in this one. I felt like we were. Goalies on Boston have been an absolute strength. I thought Swayman was. And thankfully, our goalie was also a strength in this one. And that's really where it bore out, because we did get the Dawson Mercer goal off of the, I guess technically it's off the Holla shot that just missed, hitting the post, but that was off of a point shot that got just barely deflected over the crossbar, came back out front. The Holla shot hits the post, bounces back out front. Chaos ensues, and you get Luke and Mercer crashing the net with Mercer getting the goal. And needed one of those greasy goals, it looked like, to get past Swayman. In the third period, we again did what the TNT announcers were talking about, actually getting some backdoor plays in. I don't think it's because they weren't recognizing it, but instead kind of were just waiting for that right opportune moment to try and capitalize on those. And then once those started coming, we did get the tying goal, and the game goes to overtime, where we're the best overtime team in the league. Jack just absolutely dominated, overtime king, and what else can you say? That pass from Bratt was insane. Completely took Lindholm out of his britches, and Jack gets the goal. You love to see Jack looking over, barely celebrating, instead wanting to see how his younger brother was doing. From what I could tell, Luke seemed okay. There's no practice today, so we won't have any update on that, but I'm really not too concerned. He was skating on his own, came out to celebrate. But if you look at the replay, when everybody was leaving the bench to go celebrate with Jack, Luke was still hunched over, nursing that hit into the boards from Lindholm. So hopefully he is doing well. I'm sure he will be. But no update from that today. We'll have to wait for tomorrow's practice to get any sort of update there. And then we don't play again until Saturday, right? No practice today, practice tomorrow, and then game Saturday, I believe, versus Columbus. So get another little break here. What else? Fourth line still looks really good. Yeah, they didn't score, but they continued to hem the other team in for the most part with Lazar, Mikey, Bastion. I thought after saying they needed to find their groove, I thought Marino Ball had probably one of their best games of the season. More so Marino than Ball, but I feel like as a pairing they played quite well. Nemec, Siegs, Luke, and Miller had some good moments, but also some struggles. I felt like Pasta had a ton of chances against us. I mean, multiple really great shots, and Vitek basically shut them all down, including the one move against Nemec, which we already talked about. And that's really it. I mean, Vitek came up big on this one. He went for blow with Swayman, I thought, which was really the difference maker. We get the greasy goal. Boston had just an insane shit from a player that really played probably one of his best games of the season, and Geeky there. And then we went in overtime because, well, we're really just not going to lose in overtime to very many teams ever. So got the 2 points. We're another step closer to being firmly in a playoff position, but geez, the Metro is just bonkers. Everyone seems to always keep winning or just losing in overtime, just getting at least a point or two in almost every game, it feels like. So still a lot of season to go. We're not even halfway through it yet. So lots and lots to talk about coming up, but go ahead and call it there on that one. It was great to see Jack get on the score sheet. Bratt continues to stay on the score sheet recently. That just need Timo. I thought he had a great game in this one. Tons of chances, good shots on net. Actually driving play in the right direction, but he still seemed a bit shaky. Wasn't really taking the body in a lot of instances. Some shaky passes, missing on some passes for shots. So while it was still a great game, he is nowhere near firing on all cylinders. Eventually, that's got to happen, you have to think. For anyone suggesting to trade Timo, you're insane. Bonkers. Just insane bonkers suggestion. Stop doing that. But yeah, going to go ahead and wrap it up here. We get Friday tomorrow. Heading into the weekend. Should be a great one. So enjoy this win. We got a couple days to really stew with it, and that's good. Instead of, ending with a loss and having a couple days to stew on that. Been on a really good stretch here. I think we're going to continue, especially looking at the schedule coming up. There's a really good chance for us to fly up the standings a bit. So see you guys tomorrow morning. As always, and forever, let's go Devils, baby.